There's something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is. Something's wrong with our eyes. We're seeing things in a different way, and God knows it ain't His. It sure ain't no surprise. Living on the edge. Living on the edge. There's something wrong with the world today. The light bulb's getting dim.
What's going on?
How are you guys doing?
We're good.
We're living the dream.
Chris and Hannah. Where to start with you guys? The Bittersweets, Chris and Hannah, incredible souls and incredible talents, guys. But let's start with that. Let's start with Nashville, guys. Saw you guys a few weeks ago at City Winery. I was looking at the set list because I had the set list right here.
You stole our set list?
Stole the set list because I knew I was going to talk to you guys.
Somebody who steals the set list.
There you go. The room was packed. A fantastic show, guys. So much great music. The songwriting, guys. You guys, the way you captured the essence of life. Just phenomenal. And we've gotten to know you guys' music the past few weeks, from the 2006 Life You Always Wanted to 2008 Goodnight San Francisco, and to the new stuff. It is like an experience to get into the Bittersweets music, guys. So we're really glad to have you on the show.
Aww,
that's so sweet. You're like the nicest person in the world.
Thanks.
I feel like
it's true.
Really, that's so thoughtful.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, guys. And I want to talk about the new songs in a second. But Hannah, let me first ask you. You guys were in Florida recently for some vacation. How was Florida?
Oh, it was amazing. It's so hard to leave Florida. I never went to Florida until we moved here. I think I went one time to Disney World when I was really little.
Okay, but that's different, right? Yeah, different experience.
I know. There's all this Florida culture. Like, every area is so different. I've only ever been to, Santa Rosa Beach area. 38 thing. It's like you just drive south and you get to the closest beach and body of water you can reach. Tell you what happened though on Saturday. We drove back
sure.
on 65 North, the whole way back, and it was like what's tropical storm Claudette.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I read about that. Okay.
It was the hardest driving. We literally all we did was drive for a living, basically, for all the time. We would just tour nonstop for many years, and this was the single worst drive we've ever had in our lives. And there was this major wreck.
It was like a national
around Birmingham, right?
Yeah, a bunch of kids died.
It was so sad.
Oh my God! Yeah,
it was
a tragedy.
It was really, really unsafe. I felt like we almost pulled off, and then there was a tornado warning. But anyways, sorry, we turned everything into depressing. You're like asking
the Bittersweets. It's right on cue. I love it.
Our vacation was lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you guys are safe. But yeah, I definitely read about that news in Birmingham. Such a tragedy, and we obviously pray for the family and all that, and all the people affected. But definitely, Chris. So Chris, just going back to your early life for a second. You're from Massachusetts. Hannah, you're from California originally. Both of your parents were musical teachers, right? So you guys both saw, like, at an early age, the power of music, right?
Oh yeah. Well, Chris's folks weren't musicians.
Oh, they weren't even.
Not even close.
They didn't. They're
so talented, though.
But do you talk about your parents?
Yeah, my folks were music teachers. And my mom refuses to retire. I don't know if she'll ever retire. She's like 74. I think
I
she's
love that.
You're not supposed to say her actual age on
look, she's refusing to retire. She loves teaching. And it's been so life-giving for both of them, and amazing for me to grow up around all the music all the time. I didn't really get into Americana though until I met Chris, because I was so busy doing other music. Like, I was in musical theater.
You were into jazz, right? Musical production, all that stuff?
Jazz. I did a little bit of opera in college.
Everything. I didn't. I played jazz.
But then when Chris, introduced me to this whole new world, I was like, whoa, I think this is where I fit the best. I don't know.
With me or the
Never
music?
Looked back. Although I secretly dream of writing a musical with Chris someday.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that.
I can see that happening. Like a show of you guys is almost a musical. Just a little plot,
I keep
you guys got it.
This. Can you please
we need a plot line.
Tell him.
It really did feel like a beginning, middle, end. I mean, finishing with this land. Man, it was like Springsteen on Broadway. It was great. Yeah. But it's true. And Hannah, like, okay, but like when you discovered Joni Mitchell, like before you met Chris, that kind of like blew your mind, right? Like, was that because we see a lot of parallels? And actually, her blue album turns 50 today.
Yes.
Oh, you're kidding.
Literally on this date.
Yes. Yeah. I guess I did. I can't give you all the credit.
You were listening to folk music. I just don't think it was like
actually in my sophomore year of high school. I was 15, and my English teacher gave me a cassette tape of Alison Krauss, and it just blew me away. I was like, "This is something. I gotta do a deep dive." So yeah, all that just
that folk stuff.
So influential.
Absolutely, and it just pours out of the sound of you guys. And Chris, you know, you are obviously synonymous with it. If people see you, you know, it's like, okay, Chris Meyers and the guitar are one. But you mentioned this briefly. You were into jazz and you were into piano first, right? So when did you make that switch? When was that pivot time where you just went for the guitar there?
Yeah, so I was, I had decided to. I was pretty sure that I wanted to go to Berklee School of Music in Boston and play jazz piano there. And as I had started going through the whole application process, and my teacher at the time had taught there for a while, I guess I realized that the jazz world, because I had started doing competitions and stuff too, it was just this really competitive place. And I think some people just
Chris is not competitive at all.
I am so competitive.
So
I hate
he just never would have fit in there.
I'd never play Monopoly with me. I'm ruthless.
Really? One of those, like.
I'm horrible. I'll be playing with a 5-year-old, and I'll just destroy
right.
it.
Your wife.
Or my wife.
He played Monopoly once with me, and at one point during the game, he's like, "Are you an idiot?"
Yeah.
Okay, but this
Monopoly can cause that. I don't blame you guys.
That's the worst. But long story short, I think I decided that I'd been getting more into singer-songwriters. Actually, my whole life, honestly, the way I taught myself the piano was my aunt had bought me "Born in the USA" on vinyl. By the way, behind us.
Thanks.
you can see that.
Oh, there he is. I can see Bruce's
Cover
butt.
it.
Yeah, for the audio audience, there's a vinyl there of "Born in the USA."
Yeah, on the wall. That's it. That's the one she gave me, the exact copy, and I.
Oh, that's the exact copy.
That's the one. That's the exact one that she gave me.
Amazing.
And I just played the record to death. And I decided, my mom had put a piano in the same room where the record was. It was the only record I owned. She bought a piano only because she thought my dad needed a hobby, and he never took her up on it. So it was just sitting there. And so I just started plunking away, and I actually learned the entire record by ear when I was like 6 or something. But it took like 2 years to learn it. But that's how I taught myself piano.
And then you tried to take traditional lessons, right? And that never worked.
Oh yeah.
But
I was the worst student. I left a trail of angry teachers in my wake.
But then who was the teacher that really stuck with you?
Are you the interviewer now?
Yeah.
I love that. Hannah, take it away. You rock. That's a great question.
No, so I ended up in this little hill town in Western Massachusetts where I lived. It turns out Joe Cocker's old musical director lived there and taught. And somebody connected us, and they're like, "Well, if you all the other teachers don't like you and you don't like them, you have to try this guy." And I would walk in, and he would just start, he'd just like pull out his bass and be like, "Okay, let's go," and he'd just start playing, and you just have to walk with him and keep with him, and it was amazing. But anyways, he said, "I'm going to give you one guitar lesson. If you want to switch to guitar, I'm going to give you one lesson," and he did. He gave me one lesson. He said it's going to take an hour. He taught me everything I need to know, and then he's like, "You can go from here."
Wow. I love those stories, and it makes you wonder how many, talents maybe were derailed by teachers or, just stuff like that. But anyway, awesome, guys. And, guys, I have to ask about a little bit about you guys as a couple, because you guys are a beautiful couple, obviously. But you guys have talked about this to death, Hannah, but how did you guys meet, right? I mean, significant other definition, who looked at who fell in love with who? How was the chemistry there? Yeah.
I don't know. We actually met in Berkeley, California.
Yeah. Berkeley?
Yeah.
We were doing like a year-long, like kind of pseudo-volunteer thing, and we were working at the same place. I was interning.
We were interns.
It was kind of a half-real job. But no, I heard her sing. But we were not, we were seeing other people then. And we, actually, the first time we toured even, we were at each other's throats. Like we did not get along.
Sure.
It was before GPS could talk to you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we had like
I may
pages,
have paused that
directions and maps, and we would fight constantly.
Lost a few times.
But I think we had so many. We kind of got all of our fights out of our system. I feel like we got very comfortable communicating very openly with each other. And then at some point in time, right before we moved to Nashville, or kind of like right after we moved to Nashville, we I don't know, fell in love.
Yeah.
The rest of the history.
I love that story. Yeah, because I did want, because obviously, guys, you can talk about Paul and Linda McCartney. You can talk Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo.
Yeah.
Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Like, music is littered with very, with power musical couples. But yeah, like, so you said you got the fights out of the way early. Is it difficult sometimes, like, the lines? Like, if you guys are performing a show and Chris bought the wrong cheese or whatever the night before, like, does that blend into it, or is it just like separate apart?
Well, I will say we're coming up on 10 years of marriage, so I feel like we can compartmentalize like crazy now. We're experts, right?
Yeah. Experts.
I've
But so often
there's
with
so
a show.
much we realize at this point in our relationship, like there's things that are a big deal, and a lot of it's just really not a big deal. And I feel like we can kind of bounce back.
Totally. I also feel like it's so great. We love playing so much together. Part of me just like, when we're on stage, it's just fun. I don't know, it's just fun. We just love being with each other. So I feel like even if you're angry before you go on, it's hard to...
Definitely.
Hard to stay mad at her on stage.
And I feel like it's taken us a while, but I feel like we finally are realizing, oh my gosh, energy is everything when you're performing live,
Sure.
Just try to be, in a centered space, in an excited space, happy, whatever you want to convey, like energy is everything. And
I agree with that.
The first thing we say to each other, we try to like pump each other up before shows. We're like, okay, let's just have fun with each other, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes into the audience, and thank you guys. Like, you guys do that so well because it's part of you. Maybe you don't realize how much beautiful you have inside of you, but like it spreads through the room, and it's part of the experience of seeing you guys. So that was lovely.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's true. Can't wait to see you guys again. So, guys, Chris, when you moved to Nashville, that was kind of a big deal, right? Because you guys were you guys were based in the West Coast, if I have the story right, and you guys were making great music there. What was the break point, the breakthrough moment where you guys looked at each other and you said, Hannah, this is the time to do it? What was like that breaking point?
It was a bunch of things. One was our drummer at the time, Steve Bowman, was moving out to Nashville, and he had kind of been living in both places. He kept trying to convince us to come out. We were a 5-piece band at the time. Our bass player, who is now a power intellectual property attorney in the Bay Area, he was like the Spotify lawsuit, like the big one, the Happy Birthday lawsuit. He's a huge famous attorney now, but he was our bass player, and he had just graduated law school.
Cool.
Now looking back, don't know how he did law school and the band at the same time, but he did. So he was going to be moving on because he had to become a lawyer and pay back his law school bills and stuff. So we were at a point where it was kind of like, well, we could follow Steve out here and try to start something new. It was a bunch of transitions were happening. Like I said, we were about to start, seeing each other more seriously, more than just bandmates. Our record label was dissolving, so we were kind of looking for a new label. At the time, you kind of needed a record label to do anything, and then it was also just logistical. Like, we were touring constantly, and any time we wanted to start a tour, we'd have to drive for like 3 days from San Francisco to get to the first show. And we realized if you're in Nashville, you're a day's drive from most cities in the country.
Not to mention,
it's pretty wild.
Not to mention the Bay Area, California Bay Area is a hard place to live if you're a musician.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
Just cost of living is astronomical.
So like a side gig as a programmer or something like that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right, let's talk a little bit about your music, but thanks for sharing that, because you guys are synonymous with Nashville. Is lucky to have you guys. But all right, let's talk about a few songs. So many directions. Let's talk about "I'm Still Here." I love that song, and it's such a strong, obviously, and beautiful song, Chris. And when you played that at City Winery, I think that was the emotional apex of the evening. It's like everything stopped moving. Obviously, you talked about it. It deals with your mother and her battle with mental disease. Was it cathartic writing this song, Chris? Like, how did it come about?
Yeah, I don't think that it was cathartic at the time. At the time I wrote it, my mother was in the process of dying. We knew that she was basically dying, but she was still, she was still present and physically there with us. And I think, I don't know that it was cathartic. It was just kind of came out of me, right? Sometimes songs you finish them and there's some sort of relief, and I think that because the entire song, there's no resolution.
Yeah.
It was. I've actually got another song. So we're gonna release. We never recorded. I'm still here. We played it twice live. It's interesting you mention it because it's it feels new. But we're gonna be releasing that in August, the actual recording of it. But we're gonna follow it up in September with another song that I wrote after she died, which is kind of, I think, the resolution. It's kind of me then looking back to like childhood and all of the positive memories, because she really, really was an incredible mother, an incredible woman. The whole time I lived in the house, she was, I think, in a much better place health-wise and mental, emotionally too, and a lot of this other stuff happened to her later in life. So
Sure. Well, she was like a beautiful woman, Chris. That's wonderful. You're paying homage that way. Hannah, talk to me about, you guys are being so generous with your time. Thank you, guys. This is super enjoyable.
We're thrilled to join us.
Lovely. This is great,
for
Hannah.
having us. Thank
Of
you.
course, you guys are doing a great project. One song every month in 2021. I mean, amazing. And every song you guys have released is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like, first of all, the ballsy idea. Where did the idea come from, Hannah? And talk to me a little bit about the discipline. Like what's the discipline that goes into, because every song is A+. What's the discipline to get there?
Oh, like one a month?
Yeah.
You mean like one single a month?
One a
It's
month.
hard. We have like a very detailed timeline. It's like spreadsheet that Chris put together because he's just so good with that kind of thing. So every day, like new tasks pop up on our calendars. We're like, oh gosh, okay. But it's good to just kind of have these. I'm a big list person, so it's good to have things we can check off each day to slowly get there, so that we're not just totally bombarded at the end of the month, like the day before the release, like, oh shoot, we didn't do X, Y, or Z. So we're trying to keep up with our timeline, and it's hard because we juggle, life, and we have 2 little boys, and we have a home studio, so that makes a huge difference because a lot of times one of us can escape into the studio.
You're in the home studio right now, by the
You're
way.
in our home studio.
Right.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's great. It's amazing, and it's so life-giving because for a while we kind of stopped and took a long hiatus from everything. So it feels good to kind of push ourselves and get back out there and just do what we love, what we know we'll always love and will never stop being a part of us. So
Oh, go ahead.
No.
No. It sounds, Chris, like you're very, like, you take a very disciplined approach. Like you guys will go, it sounds like 9 to 5, no distractions, and hammer something out. You guys are not just like, hey, inspiration strikes, when the muse hits kind of artists.
Well, so the crazy thing, it's crazier than 9 to 5, because when we stopped touring and playing music, we both got day jobs. My day job evolved into a pretty heavy time intensive job.
Are you going to tell everybody what it is?
Sure. I'm the dean of students at Vanderbilt Law School.
Okay.
So I do that during the day, and then we get back and we kind of put our kids to bed and kind of feed them dinner.
Interesting.
And then basically all night until some hour of the night we're mixing, or we're doing something every single night. So it's busy. It's really busy, and there's not enough
look at you.
sleep.
So lucky to have you, Chris. Look at you. I mean, that's
I'm
a side
awake.
hustle. You're making a difference. You talk about a side hustle, right?
It didn't. I didn't really intend for this to happen. I just I had gotten just a job. Kind of hold me over, and I just, as it turned out, just kind of hung around and things happened. So
cool.
He's very humble. He's very humble. He's an amazing dean. Vanderbilt's very lucky to have him.
Thanks.
I'm sure. Commodores, go Commodores. Lovely.
Commodores, anchor down.
Awesome. Yeah, well, guys, you guys have been amazing. So generous with your time. Is the rumor true that you guys may play a little ditty for us?
Yeah, we can talk
The
about
rumor is true.
Oh my
Yeah, we got
God, I
microphones.
love
We're in the
that.
studio. Why not? What do you want to do? See, I told you we don't prepare. We just kind of show up for
I
stuff.
love it. Go and feel.
We prepare for the records where we have our to-do list, but we kind of do these things. What do you feel?
Well, we could do world ends or the cover, or
Oh yeah, do you want it? Should we do? I guess that was the last single.
or we could
Should we do the Aerosmith song just because?
The Livin on the Edge, sure.
On the edge, is that right?
Wonderful performance. Yeah, lovely.
This is I mean, there's kind of a story behind this. This is the last single that we released a couple of weeks ago, but we basically the story is that we both heard this song. This was a huge single right back in the '90s that we were familiar with. I remember buying the record or the CD at a CD store when I was a teenager. But we just heard this at some point during 2020, and we were like, "Oh my God, that song could have been written right now." What if we just kind of think of it as a folk ballad? Because that's kind of how I'm hearing it, and we just sat down. That's what kind of came out.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, you hear all that? Yeah, let's go with the watermelon.
Hang on a sec. Okay. There's something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is. Something's wrong with our eyes. We're seeing things in a different way, and God knows it ain't His. It sure ain't no surprise. Living on the edge. Living on the edge. There's something wrong with the world today. The light bulb's getting dim. There's meltdown in the sky. You can judge a wise man by the color of his skin. Mister, you're a better man than I. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself from falling. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself at all. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. Living on the edge. Tell me what you think about your situation. Complication, aggravation is getting to you. The chicken little tells you that the sky is falling. Even if it wasn't, would you still come crawling back again? I bet you would, my friend. Again and again and again and again. There's something right with the world today, and everybody knows it's wrong. We can tell them no, or we can let it go, but I would rather be hanging on. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself from falling. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself at all. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself from falling. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself at all. Living on the edge. You can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. Living on the edge.
Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. What a beautiful song. What a duo. What a band, guys. Wow.
Come on.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. That was phenomenal. That was a drop the mic moment right there.
Aww,
thank you.
You're very sweet. That's so gentle.
No, Hannah, it was phenomenal. You should have seen the people's expressions leaving City Winery that night, and can't wait to see you guys play again.
Hey, we're so grateful that you would have us on, and this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. We look forward to seeing you move forward this year and with the rest of your projects. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We look forward to following you too.
All right, guys. Take care.
We'll talk soon.